AI is quite frightening, quite frightening for one particular reason, in my opinion, is that the bottleneck of AI is amazing when it comes to capabilities. But when you think about what fuels AI, it's a it's a lot of energy and water, but a ton of energy, a ton of energy. Our current power grid, speaking about the US more specifically, is not built for AI. It's not built for server farms every mile or two, just consuming all this electricity. It was built in the 1900s. It was built for homes without electricity. Well, not electricity, but air conditioning and all these current luxuries that we currently enjoy. The power grid is unchanged since then. It's been adapted and slightly adjusted since then, but we don't have enough energy to constantly be mining Bitcoin and running these AI, power, these server farms where people are just talking to it. Tell me a joke about this, and then build me this, and make a video about this. And this is worldwide, especially because the U.S. is the world leader in terms of these AI platforms. Well, if the world is using these apps, the world is consuming energy from the US, which means where's all that energy coming from? What I foresee the future being is that the energy shortage is not going to affect the rich. It's going to affect you. Not so much you, but the poor people, the people who have a shortage of water because, yeah, the Microsoft down the street is consuming all this water to cool their data centers. I foresee, well, if there was one movie that I think is the most accurate when it comes to the future of the United States, especially as it relates to AI, it would be Hunger Games. When you see that the elites have all the power they got robots and they got AI powered drones and AI powered dogs and AI powered robots, and chefs and masseuses, and they got sex robots in this corner, and then they got the car robots and the Teslas and the Rivians and Cybertrucks, and yeah, at some point there won't be enough energy for everyone, which means now you have an increase in price, which is going to cut out countless percentages of people that can't access the commodity of electricity because it's just too expensive. Now we have the opportunity to decentralize in the form of batteries and solar panels and all these things. But yeah, it's so inefficient. The most dense energy source is nuclear. The least dense is solar. Well, yeah, a lot of people have access to it, but yeah, the sun's everywhere. But is it? Because it's cloudy in Syracuse. Trust me. One of the most depressing cities in the world is Syracuse, New York. It's just always overcast. The UK is always overcast. Florida, plenty of sun. Texas, plenty of sun. Which means if you move there, there's still going to be a price increase because of the inflation amount of people, the inflated amount of people. So what we're going to see is an increase in cost of energy. Hence why Trump is started digging for oil again. You've seen all these other countries, their infrastructure is crumbling because the populations are increasing because of immigration, but there's no infrastructure adaptation. So it's and I'm sure a lot of people are already experiencing their power bills going up just because of just because of the climate shift, and it seems like the magnetic poles are shifting. All these different conspiracies about why we're getting floods everywhere, fires everywhere, hurricanes everywhere. The number one impact is going to be energy. Bitcoin requires a lot of energy. Proof of work cryptography is running a ton of hash functions by these huge GPUs. Energy. It requires energy. You can't run it on solar. Grok is powered by a ton of diesel generators and batteries and power. And a lot of companies are trying to go nuclear, but it takes years to build nuclear infrastructure. Years. They have the smaller modular ones and like, oh, we have our little mini nuclear reactors, you know. And there's always proof of concept. There's already proof of concept. Nuclear subs, they run year round. They're in somebody's ocean right now. You don't know where they are in the world, but they get free energy. Nuclear, it works already. But how do we? Of course, we have a couple spills, and I think Russia had a little issue with nuclear, and then you know, nuclear fallout, and debris, and nuclear waste. And now impacting water supplies, all these things. Yeah, it's complex, but in terms of the effect, yeah, it's going to be energy. It's going to be energy. And so while we currently enjoy a lot of luxuries as far as, all right, write my paper and this time make it more human like. And then at one point I was posting AI videos every single day. I believe I got three video creations on Google Veo per day. And yeah, I was just posting those on TikTok. I'm like, all right, let me just do something. Let me try something. And yeah, it's so energy intensive. Energy. So yeah, at some point, we'll start feeling the effects, if not already. People that live downstream of these data centers, they're already experiencing water shortage and water pressure loss and all these different things. Um, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. The only advantages that we have is that we know about it. We know about it. So plan accordingly. How do you do that? Decentralize your life. Decentralize your life. How do you do that? Uh, get your passport. Get your passport, get some Bitcoin, learn what a cold wallet is, learn what a hot wallet is, understand Bitcoin, understand cryptocurrency, understand why Bitcoin is different than all the other different cryptocurrencies, why it's the number one cryptocurrency, why it was the first. Read the white paper, learn what a white paper is, learn how to read a white paper. There's so many steps in terms of living a decentralized lifestyle. A lot of people think, "Oh, I'm just gonna move to a farm and I'm just gonna grab some solar panels and I'm just gonna live off the land." And I'm like, it's much more complex than you think it is. A solar panel has to be cooled. It has to have direct sunlight. It has to have constant sunlight, and even during cloudy days, you'll still get power. Reception. But you can't live off of it. You can't run no AC off of trickles of. I'm getting 50 watts of power. You're not powering nothing. Barely a fan. Take you two days to charge your phone off 50 watts, especially if there's power loss. There's lossage when it comes to converting DC to AC and all these. It's so much. It's so much. So yeah, there will be tangible and literal effects of AI that a lot of people can't foresee. And honestly, the moat to getting more power is prohibitive. Like it's difficult to get more power. It's easy to save power. You got to buy batteries, and batteries are expensive. Batteries are expensive. So I've seen this kind of afar off, and it's not like I'm more prepared than anyone else. I just kind of know. You just kind of see it, and you realize, this is going to be interesting. And there are other countries that have no effects of AI outside of maybe their jobs being outsourced to AI. Um, but yeah, the power is already hitting people. Germany power infrastructure. All right, all right. People want to live all green and like I'm one with nature. If all the solar panels in the US and all the batteries in the US were combined in one central location to power the country, the US could run for about 8 minutes. About 8 minutes. Whose phone is being charged first? Whose devices? Whose house is getting air conditioning? Who's getting heat during the winter? A lot of people will be reverting back to sticks and stones and friction. It takes some. I mean, currently the market is oversaturated with solar panels. Like they're pretty cheap to get. There's a huge used market of solar panels, but then you still need batteries. You still need cooling. You need copper, a ton of copper. Who do you think is getting priority on copper in today's world? Tesla, Rivia. No, the government subsidized companies are getting first dibs on all the copper and minerals. Why do you think Trump made that deal with Ukraine? Because they got all these natural minerals. Why do you think Trump wants Greenland, Canada, natural resources? What does Canada have? Hydropower. That's what New York City is powered off of. So yeah, this world, everything is ran by energy. The entire world, everything is energy, down to our atoms. Everything is the mitochondria in our cells. Energy. My success is based on how much energy I have in the day. Everything's energy. So when you start studying energy, You'll run into Bitcoin at some point because you realize, oh, Bitcoin is the conservation of energy and on the internet. There's no loss. Whereas the dollar is losing energy every single day, which means you're losing energy because you're working for dollars using your time. That's a very inefficient exchange. Anyway, moving on from that.